Welcome back to another Fact Sheet Friday. I'm also going to cover yesterday's blog on carrots because Giants kind of messed me up on that one and didn't send the information out until a few hours before the blog post released, and I didn't actually realize until the blog post came out. So yeah, we'll have a quick look at that. We'll have a look at the fact sheets as well. Just to remind everyone, Platinum expansion, the premium expansion, is coming out on the 14th of November for all platforms. We get the new map, we get the new crops. Carrots is one of those, which we'll have a little bit of a dig into in a bit. Some new productions, new vehicles, and we've got some more fact sheets on those. So if you're interested in picking up the premium expansion or any of the other DLC content, please use code Disturbed. You help me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you any more. It does work for if you're on PC and you're on Giants or Steam. If you're on Steam, you still have to buy it from the Giants site, but then when you install it, it works just fine, apparently. So as I said, I'm going to cover yesterday's carrot blog and then fact sheet Friday. Must fix the typo. So these are the first proper details we've had of this new crop. So Giants are adding in a new process, and you can see it over here, of having to ridge before you plant. So it looks to me a lot like the underlying potato ridge texture, but you have to do the ridging first. It acts as part of the fertilization process. So Giants do say after ploughing. I'm assuming that what that actually means is carrots place the needs ploughing state. So because that's not a ploughed field that we're working in. So, but that's kind of cool. I kind of like when they add new processes like that. Makes the game a bit more involved. And then we have some new planters, and I'm wondering if we're going to get some bigger ones. There is a full list of the kit on the website. Apparently, I just haven't had a look at it properly yet. And whether normal planters will be able to plant carrots or whether it's got to be ones from the DLC, that will be interesting. So something to have a look at, or if you know, you could comment below. Because one of the bits of kit I'm going to talk about is Giants did highlight it in the blog, but I learned some stuff about it from a comment on the previous one of these. So yeah, I really like the fact that they've given us this kind of deep dive into how the crop works. It's really interesting, assuming that Giants have put the right numbers on here. This is a very high yielding crop, so it yields higher than sugar beet, potentially. So I'm going to caveat that with they haven't said what the fertilization states are to achieve the 77,000 litres per hectare. The numbers that I've got for sugar beet are the basic yield, so they could be different by quite a lot. So bear that in mind, but it appears to be very high yielding. I would assume it's around the kind of sugar beet potato one. The caveat to that is the sell price appears to be very high and the growth period is very short. You plant them in April, harvest in August, so it's a 4-month growth cycle, which is kind of interesting. My takeaway from this is they're going to be a lot of work to plant and harvest, because generally the way it works with Giants is the more valuable a crop is, the more work it is to use. So thinking about the yield, when I put these together, I didn't think about fertilization. They might be issuing that 77,000 litres per hectare might be assuming maximum fertilization, whereas the sugar beet number I have does not. So there would be a difference there. And in fact, you'd maybe looking at about 70% of the yield of sugar beet, but still a really high price, really, really high price. Again, that they don't say what difficulty level that's on. That could be on easy difficulty. So it's kind of like a tantalizing hint of information, but not quite enough. But what it does make me think is this is going to be a crop that's a lot of work. So on the last fact sheet, we had I think it was the last fact sheet, the harvester that did a single row of carrots. And, that's going to be a lot of work to harvest a field when you're doing that. There is a 4-row harvester, but we'll talk about that in a moment. In fact, now. So there is a bigger 4-row harvester, which someone mentioned to me on the last Fact Sheet Friday video. And what they said is it doesn't have any internal storage. So it acts a bit like a forage harvester. And I've been on the interwebs. I've watched DeWolf's marketing video. I've watched some other videos of people using them on the farm, and I think it's right. So I think if you're using this harvester, you need to run it like a forage harvester, but more accurately. So you need to be, there's a conveyor belt that's sitting just the other side that you can't really see. And you need to have a trailer under that to have this thing work. So yeah, it's going to be either a multiplayer job, or if you're on PC, a courseplay auto drive job. If you're on console, you gotta hope you've got a square field and base game worker can run the harvester for you. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky one actually, and I think maybe that's why it appears to be so profitable. That it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be like running sugarcane basically, without the ability to have a trailer running behind the self-propelled harvester. So you might be, if you're doing single play, you might be limited, particularly on console, to that one row harvester. So yeah, it's a crop that's going to be a lot of work, and I think that reflects why there's a lot of money in it. On to the fact sheet Friday, and we've got 3.5 things to have a look at today. So first is the Farmet Softener 11 PS. So this is a disc harrow, 10.5 meters rather than 11. Yeah, it's a little bit of artistic license there in the naming. Maybe it's a reasonably beefy tractor, which I guess for a 10.5 meter disc harrow is not a surprise. So 330 horsepower. A nice looking bit of kit, something that I could see myself using at some point in the game. So yeah, nothing bad to say about that particularly. We've got some Bednar kit. This one is interesting. So there's a tank which holds seed and fertilizer, which I think is this front section, and then there's a subsoiler, a 3-meter subsoiler. I'm guessing the subsoiler has some sort of seeding function as well, so that you can subsoil and then seed. There are pipes and stuff. So I've not Googled this one. I did with the carrot harvester, not with this one. So possibly interesting, possibly not so sure. And then the last one we have is a trailer. So it's a FarmTech DDK 2400. So, and again, interestingly, the 2400 trailer holds 28,000 litres of product, 37,000 ish pounds, dollars or euros. Looks like it's a bulk trailer, so holds pretty much everything, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I guess you're going to want something like this when you're harvesting your carrots. So that's the fact sheet Friday number 2 and the blog on the new crop. Carrots look interesting, but my gut feel is they're going to be a lot of work, and yeah, that might put some people off. I think we'll have to see how the other crops look. And some of the kit that we're starting to see, I quite like the look of the disc harrow. Could see me using the trailer. Could see me using that Bednar thing. I'm not so sure. Anyway, hope you found this useful, interesting. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. And if you do want to pick up the premium expansion, think about using my Giants partner code. See ya.